Bitch, I'm feeling like LeVar Ball. Taught these niggas with their guards off. Niggas bad. Christine Lee, he is a blonde thot.
Alright, so the Six and Milwaukee are playing right now. You said they were just recently up 20, is that right?
Yeah, I think they cut it to 16.
Yeah, I'm seeing right here, 88 to 104.
7 minutes left. It's looking slow for Milwaukee.
Yeah. We'll hit on that in a second. I think it's fair to just start out with the brooms on Portland. So
get the brooms out.
Get the brooms out. I called it. I'm the man. That's all I got to say. Although we did all call.
We can move on.
Yeah. So Steph played completely out of his mind. He actually ended up with a trip dub last night. Now I will say
the thing too, like Curry and Damian Lillard from the floor had like the same night, but Curry was just so much more effective from three and made all the difference. Obviously, he did more than Lillard as far as like rebounding to 13 to 4, but Lillard shot just the same as Curry from the floor, but Curry just splashes from three and makes his game more effective.
It's just weird, like, how when he hits from three, it's unlike any other player that hits a three. Like, how he just uplifts that whole team's energy in the crowd.
Just the way he can be 11 for 25, but it was good in rhythm, good shots for him. It works for him. It turned into a 37-point game.
Because there was probably a stretch where he was, like, 4 of 6 from 3 and a quarter or something like that, and people were just like, this guy is the best.
It's just, that's the difference. Like, Lillard can't afford to be that inefficient. It hurts. Like, he had 28 and 12 assists, but, like, if he was a little more efficient, drop like 35, 40, and it's not fair to other like point guards or guards to be judged on like the Curry scale of efficiency either, because he can shoot 40% and torch you. He can shoot under 40% and torch you.
And that's just it. It's because his barrage of threes, like how they happen. It's not like he'll hit one here and then 5 or 6 minutes later. It's like he just hits them like bang, bang, bang possessions, and it's just like
finds a way to get to the line too, even when he's having a bad night.
I was talking to one of the guys at work. It's weird how like he's known as like this soft guy, only shoots a three. How well he actually finishes at the hole.
Yeah, he's super creative too, because he knows he can't just muscle or finesse like it's all about like his ball placement. He puts it on the glass in absurd places and it goes in.
Yeah, I've just always noticed that part of his game is how well he can finish at the hole, and he's only like 6'3", 190. He's
right, and he has that threat, so that in and of itself creates space when somebody's like trying to strap him one-on-one, because they know if he goes by you, he's going to finish.
Yeah.
Like, your center's not coming over and wiping him out a lot of the time. Or if he does, Curry will snap, pass it to somebody else. But, like, because he has that threat, you can't just run him off the three-point line, quote-unquote.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to theoretically think, well, I mean, as long as I just guard the three and 5 to 10 feet behind it, like, I'll win this matchup. When, I mean, he's just such a creative...
On 2K, that's how you got to play on 2K. Just kind of sprint at him.
Yeah.
Just sprint at him. Hope he goes by just to get a bunch of bullshit in the middle. Draymond played really well last night. Classic Draymond. He takes 13 shots, but he goes 18, 14, 11 from the floor. Or 18, 14, 11, like points, rebounds, assists for a triple-double.
Yeah, last night he didn't score a lot, but I know the 3 games prior to that, I even made note on here. He was playing like the old Draymond that you were like, damn, this guy is not a top player in the league, but he's a guy that you would just love to have on your team that plays winning basketball.
He's the prototype 4. He's the prototype power forward in the league.
Yeah, just the stretch
the new type of power forward. Yeah, the new power forward. And just the fact that he could take 13 shots and have that much impact on the game, I don't think there's another player in the league that could take 13 shots and have that much impact on the game.
Because before Steph came into the league, your prototypical 4 was like a Dirk Nowitzki, like a guy that's 6'10", like 6'8" to 6'10", 6'11", and still played the post. Maybe he could play the high post. It was never thought that a 4 would ever shoot a 3.
Or just move around the perimeter like Draymond does with like his lateral quickness and just his. He's a small forward that is able to somehow play the 4.
Yeah.
Granted, his outside game is not as consistent as like a modern day 3 would obviously need to be,
but it's just like, I mean, the roles that everyone plays at Golden State, like they just stay true to their identity. Like Draymond is more worried about his defense and assist and his keeping like his energy throughout the team more so than he is about scoring.
Do you think, like, obviously Draymond translates to another team, but do you think he could have even a bigger role in another team? Or do you think, like, the system of Golden State exemplifies what Draymond does really well?
So I'm going to say it goes hand in hand, but if I were to pick a side, I would go with it's Golden State, man. It's how they move the basketball. Like we've always talked about how well the Spurs do. Like the Spurs are great ball movement. Like back whenever they had Timmy, big time Timmy Jam, Manu, Boris Diaw when they were winning those titles late. Very underrated role player with the Spurs. Yeah, but like they just do it on steroids. I feel like they just literally don't care who scores. It's just as long as they always find the correct and the open shot.
Yeah, and that's my thing is I just don't know if he can go to a different team. He could have maybe a bigger scoring impact, but I don't know if he could be as impactful on the floor because the way the Warriors play just lets him do his thing. So, like, Draymond can do exactly what he wants on the court on that team.
And I think you said how he'd have a greater role scoring. See, I'm against that because I feel like he scores what he does because of how well the ball movement is on that team. If he goes to another team, I don't want to say a poor team like the Cavs, but let's say like an Indiana Pacers who, with Victor Oladipo, like they're a top 5 team in the East. They're the 5th best team, but they're a top 5 team nonetheless. And it's just he's not a guy unless that ball's moving that he can get a bucket. He doesn't create his own shot. He's not really a post guy. I feel like he's more of a slasher than anything.
Just as efficient as Draymond is, you would just like a lot of people. You just like to see what he could do if he got 20 shots. You know what I mean, consistently. But
so what are you saying?
I feel like if Durant leaves, it's different too. But as we've seen, I think Draymond plays perfectly fine just in the system with Steph and Clay too. Them just running, slashing off of him, letting him do his thing, set them up, and fill in the gaps for them. I don't think Draymond's going anywhere.
No,
but I just like to imagine it like how, because I think his game is like I said, the prototypical 4 now. But I don't know if it would work as good as it does for him anywhere else.
I don't think it would. I think that he benefits from great coaching and the players that he has on that team that are just have bought into the unselfish basketball style of play.
He's a beast though. Like Curry's stroking it, but like without Durant, Draymond stepped up a lot. He realized he needed to.
Yeah,
Golden
he had to fill a void.
Them. See you, Portland.
Yeah.
Sorry, thought Portland could take a couple games. Unfortunate.
See, I wanted to think they would, but I mean when it came, like they were talking about the Damian Lillard rib injury. I mean when it comes to it, the Blazers were just pretenders. That's all they were.
Yeah, and Dame didn't have a great series. Dame, like, since hitting the shot against Oklahoma City,
He didn't really do anything against the Nuggets.
Yeah, the Nuggets was really CJ series.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a big Damian thing. So, that's unfortunate. That's the reason I don't think Portland was able to challenge Golden State either, is because Dame wasn't doing enough.
So hear me out on this, just because we brought up CJ and Damian Lillard real quick. I don't think it would happen, but in theory, do you think that because CJ's series was the one against the Nuggets, which was a little bit, I mean, it was a harder fought series, went to 7. Do you think
and the Nuggets are really good.
His performance in that series could get him to like a not a max deal, but like a number 2 guy like deal where you can get say 30 million on like a contender.
Has to be. CJ is. Yeah, I think CJ could be a number 2 on a contender easily, like even a Toronto, for example.
Yeah, because
behind
like
Kawhi, you know what I mean?
he I don't know. Damian Lillard, he's a liability on defense, and if he's not hitting your 30-footers, what is he really doing?
Right, and that's what people used to say about Curry, and to a degree, it can that happens some games, but it's really highlighted on Lillard. If he's not filling it up, like getting buckets, he just doesn't impact the game the way you need him to for Portland to be on that next tier.
So I think that I know myself, I think we is like the sports fan base. I think we bought in a little too much on the Damian Lillard Oklahoma City series. The shot, I mean, it was just so memorable and iconic that
Oklahoma City sucks. That's what everybody forgot. Oklahoma City sucks.
Yeah, like it was just so hard to not buy into that moment that Damian Lillard's a top 5 point guard. I think the most recent series and this series kind of prove like, hey, he just got really hot against a not so great team.
Yep.
So,
but that shit went as expected. Like even if I thought like nobody thought Portland was going to do anything on any extended level, Golden State wins the series. Back to their 4th straight finals, 5th straight,
fifth straight.
Yeah, 5th straight.
So, real quick on Golden State and Portland, do you think? Well, no. I just want to hear what you think about how well Golden State did without Durant, and going forward, what this means for that whole situation, like as far as giving Clay and max deal rather than Durant, or what's the play there?
Well, it's a good thing for the org and the players that are, intending on staying there. They obviously think that they can do it without him. It's going to be nice to have him when they have him for the finals and they win. But I think that they realize that they're nasty with or without him. Like the core people in that org that made it what it was are still there regardless.
So, going forward without Durant, do you still think they're a dynasty, or do you just think they're like a really good team that can compete every year?
Until somebody stops them from going to the finals, they are, right? Like Durant leaves and goes to the East. Who's beating them in the West without Durant?
I mean, the only team you can say is Houston, and they're not.
Houston, yeah, people want to say Houston, but
I mean, we'll see what free agency happens next year.
Some shit has to happen in the West, right? Like some shit has to happen in the West first before you feel good about anybody. Like, and that's the thing. I think Durant's a huge impact specifically for them in the finals, but like without him, they're still gonna probably run through the West unless something drastic happens in the West.
See,
so yeah, they're not tripping. They're not tripping.
See, I think another thing that really hurt this whole conversation is they played an inferior Clippers team that won, I think, 6 games with Durant, and then when he leaves, they sweep the Blazers. Oh, no. They went, was it 5 games with Houston?
Did it go 5? Yeah, it was 5.
Okay, so they went 5 games with Houston without Durant. And then it was this series right here where they swept them. So it was like, well, you see, when Durant went out, we won in less games than we just swept this team to go to the finals. But it's like, I mean, with Durant, they were still sweeping the Blazers.
Yeah, and that's just this whatever argument. Like, yes, Golden State without Durant's still good. Are they better without him? I think that's kind of ridiculous. But
see, I was the one I've been mentioning to you about that whole thing. I will say though that with Durant, without Durant, they were still sweeping the Blazers here. That didn't mean anything.
Did you retweet that shit from Nick Wright today where he was talking about that?
I probably did.
It was about like without Durant. He was saying like the Warriors are just disgusting.
Well, no, I was more so going towards the stats, not like what he was saying, because I just look at it like there's going to be certain times where Steph and Clay aren't hot, and that's just where Durant just makes it up for them being the greatest team assembled. Not the greatest team ever, but the greatest team assembled.
Right, when Steph's off in the finals, it's just not going to matter. But when Durant's gone, it might matter. Like, I don't think it matters in the West, but the East is different. Like next year against Golden State in the finals. So
Because you think
we'll just
about
see.
it.
It makes it at least interesting.
You think about it. Without Durant, put it this way: without Durant, the last two finals, is LeBron beating that Warriors team with how well he played, or is at least going 6 or 7?
Yeah, it's different series, that's for sure. Specifically the first one.
It's not
Specifically
as
the first one.
convincing. And that's just it. That's where it put him over the top because LeBron was good enough with the ass cast that he had where he could take that team 6 or 7 games, and then it's just adding Durant. It's like, I mean, this is over in 4 or 5.
It was just crazy last year, just seeing like LeBron do it all, and then the barrage of the ship the Warriors come down, and it's just like this man's helpless. Like what can anybody do?
Because like that game 1 where he
When
went
they're hitting like a
51, 8-8. And I mean, that was the most locked in I've seen him be in a playoff game in a long time. And it was just, he knew he had to come out and do that to give them a chance to win. And he did it. And it's like his own teammates still fucked him.
right, crazy. Toronto 121-2. They won.
Yeah.
2-2 going back to Milwaukee for game 5.
So, I mean, everyone basically freaked out over the game 1 and game 2 win, game 1 specifically. But I mean, the thing is, whether you win by 1 or whether you win by 31 on game 1, it means absolutely nothing for the series moving forward. And everyone just freaks out over it.
Right. I didn't think. I don't know. I wasn't so sure that the Raptors would win both at home. I thought Milwaukee might roll over them.
I thought the same thing. I want to say I called this in 5, 6 at max. But I mean, this looks
for
like
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I thought you said I may be tripping. I thought you said Milwaukee in 7.
I could have. I honestly don't remember.
I know you picked Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I know I was the only one to pick Toronto,
But I mean, unless the Raptors like make it a close game at home, this just looks like a boring home cooked series.
right. Giannis and Middleton played well. 25 and 30. Both shot 50%. Over 50%. Middleton shot like 60. Didn't get a lot of help. Not much going on the bench or like the rest of their starters. It was pretty much just them. Bledsoe 2 for 7.
What about
Brogdon 2 for 11 off the bench.
That's one thing that hurt him. He's been shooting like 40 to 50% off the bench, and I mean,
Kyle Lowry speaking out on the disrespect on his name in the playoffs. 6 for 11, 25 points, 3 for 7. Leonard 6 of 13 for 19, just cruise. Gasol 6 of 11 for 17.
The classic.
Powell 18 off the bench. Ibaka 17 off the bench. Van Vliet 13 off the bench.
From?
Which Chelsea?
Facts. So, it's just your classic Kawhi Leonard 1 assist in the game. Like, dude, how can you be so good and only get 1 assist?
I don't know. Especially like with his hit, like he could go up and redirect midair and like make those passes that like you see after you've taken off, but other people can't see because he's so athletic. You would just think his athleticism would carry him to assists, even if his court vision was 0.
Like, Mirotic for the Bucks had 2 assists. Like, come on, dude.
It's very strange the Leonard lack of, and I feel like that should keep him out of that like top tier of argument.
It
Like he is a
does.
beast, but the guy should be able to. You got to be able, as a wing who dominates supposedly the game, you have to be able to create for your boys a little bit. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's team basketball. Like, you want to play with a guy that sets you up, good shots, passes the ball. It looks like Kawhi does nothing other than just pass it as soon as he gets it, or just goes one-on-one.
He'll defer in the offense, but he's not trying to make a play for somebody else.
Yeah, like, he's not going to get the
It's not
screen.
like he's a ball hog.
He's not going to get the screen, drive, see where the help defense comes from, and kick to that guy. That's not him.
But you would just think with his athleticism and ability to get to the basket, that like that's LeBron. Like that's how LeBron does it to a degree. I don't understand how he doesn't create.
Are you still on that to see how many assists Giannis had?
Giannis 5 assists. He had 25, 10, and 5.
Yeah, I would love to know the the stat on Kawhi guarding Giannis because last game Giannis strapped him.
You mean Giannis guarding Kawhi, or you said Kawhi guarding Giannis?
Yeah,
then
Kawhi
you said
guarding.
Giannis strapped him.
Okay, yeah, I meant Kawhi guarding
You
Giannis.
just said
Giannis
Kawhi
got strapped.
Giannis, yeah. I mean, Giannis shot well from the floor, 9 for 17. You'd probably almost want to see him take more shots if they're losing like that.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. That's a weird one.
Shot bad last game. May have been overthinking how many shots he was taking.
Could have been a thing. So I mean, it's looking like. I mean, I know this is both home games though, but it looked like Toronto definitely gave a lot more help off the bench than the Bucks got, and they just weren't hitting their threes. They're a team that relied on the three ball a lot this year.
Yeah, the Raptors got 48 off the bench. That's huge.
Yeah.
So that's massive. But I like Toronto in 6, man. They have to find. I don't know how they're going to win Game 5. I got no explanation for that. But if they win that game, I feel great about them closing it out at home.
It would be amazing to see your prediction come right. But I think we can both agree, either team that plays here,
going 7.
Either team that wins here doesn't make it past 5 with Golden State. Can we agree on that?
No, and if it's Toronto, they're getting swept.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
Maybe Milwaukee could take 2 in their best scenario. But yeah, Toronto's getting swept if they get there. But I think it honestly goes 7 because I don't think Toronto will win Game 5. I think they'll win Game 6, and then who knows, Game 7, obviously. Flip a fucking coin.
One last thing on NBA. So this is going to be the Warriors' 5th straight finals appearance. So the question of the day is, what's more impressive, 8 straight finals by LeBron or 5 straight by this Golden State team?
That's tough because everybody just say the East sucked when LeBron did that, and that's not incorrect. The East did suck. But LeBron obviously didn't have the teams Golden State had when he went to the finals all these times. And so I think you have to say LeBron 8 straight.
Because as good as it's weird to say, but you almost take LeBron's greatness for granted but you got to hear me out. Like, look at the bums that he took with Cleveland last year. Like, what did they actually do this year?
And I just think with Golden State, if they had never got Durant, you could almost make the argument 5 straight. If they had been to 5 straight, as good as the West has been for as long as it's been, if they didn't have Durant for these last 3, you could probably. But that's what we're talking about, 3 of the 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean.
So no, it's got to be LeBron. It's got to be 8 straight for LeBron.
Because everyone's saying that he took two different teams, but if you think about it, in a way, it was really 3 different teams. His last team with Cleveland before he went to Miami, then he played with Miami for 4 years, and then he went to basically a brand new team in Cleveland.
He didn't go to the finals before going to Miami, like in the run of finals appearances.
That's right, because they
lost to Dallas.
Yeah, because they were getting annihilated against Dallas. I mean, not Dallas, but Boston. And you just couldn't do anything against it.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's very fair to say that it was LeBron who is more impressive, just because, like you were saying, his cast that he was actually taking was just, God, some of the worst cast we've seen since Allen Iverson's Sixers that went to the finals.
And specifically that last team.
Yeah. But, I just wanted to touch on that right quick. So, just to skim through MLB, I don't like to take a lot of time on it because it's the longest season in the history of seasons. The Yankees continue to tear it the fuck up. They scored 4 in the 9th last night to come back and bring out the old 10-7 dub. They actually won again tonight, 11-4, I think it was. We had 2 guys hit just one tonight, hit multiple home runs. So Gleyber Torres, he's the Yankees.
Yeah, the Orioles need to stop pitching to that guy.
They just need to stop pitching in general and just start forfeiting games. It's the same thing. He is the first. Well, no, I'm sorry. He's the youngest middle infielder in MLB history with 5 multi-home run games. I mean, age 22. I mean, that's pretty fucking impressive. I can't imagine being 22 years old and having 5 multi-home run games in a season.
Yeah, he's just padding his stats against the Orioles too. Like I saw, he's batting .293 for the season, which obviously is really good. But he's batting like 500 plus against the Orioles with 3-4 series under his belt.
Yeah, so
he's just licking his chops. He's like, let me get these stats up, baby, every time he sees them.
And that was the thing with Aaron Judge last year and the year prior. He was the Orioles' killer. But he is 17 for 35, 3 doubles, 8 homers, 6 strikeouts, and a .538 OBP. Like, that is fucking ridiculous.
Just taking it out on a bad team, man. What a puss.
But yeah, that was. I mean, that's great though that you have that team to pad your stats with. So the only other thing that I wanted to hit on was Josh Bell.
Josh Bell,
the first baseman for the Pirates, because I mean, you could see his potential last year. He just didn't really have the production. This year, he's just having a fucking breakout year. He's hitting .333, 14 home runs. Yeah, 14 home runs, and 44 RBIs, and 40 on-base percentage through, 44 games. So, basically, he's averaging an RBI a game. Dude, he is on fire.
So, when's the All-Star break?
I want to say it's normally around early July.
Yeah, first weekend in July-ish.
That sounds right.
So, just by, guessing, that's looking like 20 home runs, 60 RBIs, at least 60 RBIs, probably. And if he holds that out, bro, that's, legendary pre-All-Star break numbers.
So...
That's like Pujols in his prime, but even maybe better.
So, I mean, at the pace that he's at as far as home runs, he would be hitting 50 home runs this year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. At the All-Star break, he'd have 20, 60-plus RBIs. I bet Prime Pujols, specifically with that average, has had very few pre-All-Star breaks that good. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I just thought that was fucking ridiculous.
Hopefully he doesn't do the home run derby and Ruben Nadal.
God, you would just hate to see that. Aaron Judge did it a couple years ago. God, dude, that sucked a lot.
Rip in the playoffs.
Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty much
Rip
it.
Just took the playoffs, too.
That was pretty much it for MLB. I know there's a lot of stuff popping in UFC right now.
Right, I didn't even know that so many of these fights have been signed. I couldn't believe the Frankie Max thing, but I think the most upcoming thing is Francis and Junior Dos Santos.
I know.
Main event June 1st.
Dos Santos, God, I feel like he's just been in this shit forever.
Yes, and they're putting him in there to get his carcass eaten alive by Francis Ngannou.
You think he does? I haven't seen any of his most recent fights. I think
that's what they're hoping. I think that's what the UFC is hoping. You don't really know once you saw him fight against Derek Lewis, what Francis Ngannou you're going to get.
What was the thing with Derek Lewis about the sweaty balls? What was the context?
What it was is it was the co-main on the. I think it was the co-main, or it was the second to last fight before the Khabib Conor fight on that card, and he fought Alexander. I think his name's Alexander. Most Russian guys are, and then some big Russian last name start with a V. Beast heavyweight. He's 6'5", 6'6", huge motherfucker. He beat Derek Lewis's ass the majority of the fight, and then Derek Lewis nuked him in the last round, KO'd him. And then Joe Rogan's interviewing him after, and he's something about, I see that you took your pants off. Or why are you taking it? He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, my balls was hot. And I remember Damon was watching it with me too. He thought that was the greatest thing he ever heard.
My balls was hot.
And he's like, I had to get them shits off. My balls was hot.
But yeah, who did Derek Lewis just get murked by? Wasn't it Derek Lewis?
Derek Lewis got a title shot against DC and lost. I know that.
Right.
I'm trying to see Ngannou's last fight because he's fought since the Derek Lewis fight.
But yeah, Ngannou.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Okay, so he lost against Derek Lewis. I knew he beat Curtis Blades. He KO'd Curtis Blades. And then earlier this year, he knocked out Cain Velasquez. How did I miss that?
God.
I missed that. February 17th, he knocked out Cain Velasquez. And I don't know if that's the same Cain Velasquez that, like, we remember that murked everybody. But it's Cain Velasquez. That's his name. So, like, that's a big win. And I'm saying if he wins this, he's, like, right back in the title picture.
Bro,
He beats Junior Dos Santos.
I remember when Brock went to fight Cain, and that's when Cain was becoming, like, this badass motherfucker. I just remember Cain made Brock Lesnar look like a fucking pathetic human being.
Yeah, Brock wanted nothing to do with the sport after Cain did that thing, and then Overeem nuked him after that. But no, Ngannou's beating Curtis Blades, who's a beast, and Cain Velasquez back-to-back. I mean, hold on. Like, what has Junior been doing? Like, does Junior even deserve to fight Francis?
I think that his name alone gives him something.
Right. Junior KO'd Derek Lewis last time, so yeah, that makes sense. Derek Lewis beat, quote-unquote, Francis Ngannou, not really, the most boring fight ever. Junior just TKO'd Derek Lewis in March, so no, that makes sense. I like that then.
Wasn't it Dos Santos that had that big rivalry with Cain where they fought 2 or 3 times?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I thought it was.
He lost to Cain. He beat Cain the first time and then lost to him 2 more times after that.
Gotcha.
And then he beat Stipe, I think when he had the belt, lost to Overeem, I think maybe when Overeem was still on the juice. Some other shit, and then lost the strap to Stipe when Stipe originally won it. And then since he's lost the strap, I'm pretty sure he lost the strap. He may have just been challenging for it, but I think he dropped the belt to Stipe, and then he's won his last 3 fights, including Derek Lewis. So the winner of this Overeem, or not Overeem, but
Dos Santos and Ngannou.
Dos Santos and Ngannou fight probably gets a title shot. You'd have to think.
So there was speculation about Tyron Woodley and Robbie Lawler fighting, but I mean, do you know what fell through with that? Did Woodley not want to sign off on it? Do you know what the deal was?
That's really what it was, a done deal, and then Woodley decided not to sign it at the last second. I don't know. I don't know if getting in the octagon with Robbie Lawler is a good idea for anybody. The whole thing is UFC data. Woodley don't have a good relationship. If Lawler KOs Woodley, they're going to try to just bury him forever. He'll never get a look at the belt again.
And that's
so
just
he's just going to be very selective with this next fight.
Well, that's what I was also going to say was a guy that just had the title, like, you would think he's being really selective so he can get that next fight title shot. Because it's
Right.
like, if you beat a really big contender, you would think that you deserve it.
Right, and I just don't know. I agree with them not wanting to get in there with Woodley, but 170 stacked right now, bro. Like, who are you gonna pick? There's a lot of savages in there. Like, it's not an easy fight. Anybody in the top 5, that's for sure.
Who is it that Darren Till just recently beat? Was it Wonder Boy?
No, he beat Wonder Boy like a year plus ago. Hold on, I didn't know Till fought.
See, I didn't know that he fought recently.
Post Woodley.
He
probably has. Yeah, he probably has. Give me a sec.
I don't like the idea of Darren Till and Ben Askren.
No, wait, was that even brought up? I thought it was Till and Robbie. I heard some Till and Robbie shit, I think. Oh, no, Till lost to Jorge Masvidal in March. So he's coming off back-to-back losses, so someone's got to bless him. I don't know if he gets to fight Robbie. Got KO'd by Jorge.
Okay. So
he doesn't get like a Ben Askren kind of fight anyway.
The Stipe fight, him and DC, the 2-tie. We've chatted on that. I still think that Stipe wins this one.
I mean, it's definitely not stupid to say Stipe win. I'll go with DC just because I think he looks so good the last couple times he's fought. And has Stipe fought since? I don't think Stipe's fought since
I do not
the
believe
DC
he
fight.
has.
So, and that doesn't mean as much as people want to make it out to be. Probably like he hasn't fought, DC has fought since then. But I like DC in the fight, but I just obviously don't think it'll be like the last one. But yeah, he hasn't fought since DC.
So John Jones is probably gonna murk that dude Thiago Santos within second round.
Yes, I'm not quite sure who Thiago Santos is on that level.
He is who we thought he was.
Like compared to John Jones, I don't know if 205 is just not.
So
He's on a 4-fight win streak.
Yay.
Jimmy Manua is a beast. He beat him. But I don't know. I don't see. He beat Anthony Smith back in early 2018, and Anthony Smith's a beast. So obviously he doesn't suck. But is he beating John Jones? No. He's getting fucked up. No, but like there's no even reason to get excited about this one. I think he's just getting absolutely murdered, and Jones will set his sights on DC or whoever else after.
One that I think is actually worth noting is Gustafsson and Anthony Smith.
Yes, that is a extremely good fight to get excited about. I feel like, and then that's like the problem is Jones just fought both of them recently, so it's like you say winner gets Jones, but we just saw Jones Gustafsson. We've seen it twice before. We just saw Jones Anthony Smith. So that's the only problem is Jones is just beating everybody, but the Anthony Smith Gustafsson fight is worth getting. That's for sure.
Do you think that Jones' dominance like kind of ruins that division?
Yes, and I feel like middleweight's gotten better because people don't want to go up to 205, and then even heavyweight maybe is more deep now because it's just not a division like it's capped at the top, right? Like you can only get so good, you can only get so high. Gustafsson should have had the belt by now. Anthony Smith been very close to the belt, but it's John Jones with the belt. Good luck.
So would you rather see a division where you have like say I don't know 4 or 5 guys that could win at any time, or a guy like John Jones who you just love to, that just pretty much dominates the whole division, and you just know he's going to go out there and be one of the best guys night in, night out?
Well, yeah, I just appreciate John Jones at this point, like his dominance on the sport. You'll never see. I don't know if the guys who he's beaten, but like after this fight, you just want to see the DC thing happen. I think that depends a lot on if DC wins or loses. If he loses, I don't think you'll see that. If he wins, hopefully, there's a good chance of that happening. And then John moves up to heavyweight maybe because what else is there to do for him in 205?
Yeah, not really a lot.
Nunes, Holly Holm. Good luck to Holly.
Yeah.
That's going to be rough, I think.
I mean, outside of the Ronda knockout, what is she really... I mean, I'm not going to say what has she done, but, I mean, what has she really been known for outside of that?
She's won some fights, but she's a name more than anything, and just putting Holm Nunes on the card, that works for people. They're like, oh, I know Holly. She's the person that kicked Ronda's head off.
That's all that her name's ever going to be tied to.
And that's good enough.
Good God, what a kick that was.
She beat Megan Anderson her last fight, but before that lost to Cyborg. Won the fight before, lost 3 before that, post-Rousey win. So, she's won 2 of 3. I guess that's what people are hanging their hat on. She's not fought a whole... It's the name, really. They're selling it on the name. Nunes is probably going to body her. And then hopefully we get Nunes-Shevchenko 3, because I think Shevchenko might be the only woman on the planet that can fuck with Nunes.
You think Cyborg stands a chance to fight her again?
I guess, but I just have a hard time getting excited about that. What was the first round KO for Nunes?
Yeah, but I mean, you got to think that it's going to go a little bit better than what it did.
Hopefully, but just immediately following it recently, it's you get super excited about that again.
Yeah.
It's like the Conor Aldo thing.
So is it Cejudo that's going to be main eventing the Cowboy and Tony fight?
Yeah, he is main eventing the Cowboy Tony card, which That's kind of. I mean, it's for the belt, so obviously it's going to main event it. But I just thought you could sell a card on Tony and Cowboy alone as the show.
Yeah, this is going to be a hell of a fight. Like, if they just put some names in there in the third to last fight, I mean, that's good enough.
Cejudo's last 4 fights beat Wilson Reyes, Sergio Pettis, Demetrius Johnson, and roided out TJ Dillashaw. Guys on a run.
Looking really good, really bringing back the whole wrestling culture.
Yes, and just beating Demetrius Johnson and TJ back to back, bro.
Does a lot for him.
It's more about the people he beat, but that's making his name now. Like, you know who Henry Cejudo is. Everybody knows who Henry fucking Cejudo is.
Yeah, if he comes out and wins this next... Who's his fight against?
I was trying to figure it out. I didn't know who it was at first. Because it's flyweight. And I'm not super up to date with flyweight.
So, I mean, I think it's fair to say
Henry Cejudo... No, go ahead, sorry.
If he wins convincingly on this next fight, I think it's very... Is this 238? UFC 238?
Is that when he fights?
Yeah, because it says Marlon Moraes.
Yeah. Marlon something. Moraes.
So if he wins convincingly, I think it's fair to put him on, like, the... top 3.
It's a bantamweight fight.
Yeah, I just saw that. I think it's fair to put him on, like, the top 3 in the UFC right now. I mean, him, John Jones.
Oh, it's for the bantamweight strap because TJ got chipped.
That's
right.
right.
I'm just realizing that. So he's going for the chip.
Wow, he's going for the double daddy.
So that's why it's the main event, obviously. Like,
fact.
Not only that, it's the title. Like, because I thought he was defending the flyweight strap, and that makes more sense. TJ got stripped of the belt. He just beat TJ. Henry deserves it. They were talking about Henry going up instead of TJ coming down anyway. Making that way. No, there's fucking EPOs, baby.
So, the last fight I want to touch on is Holloway and Frankie Edgar.
Right, interesting that Frankie gets that shot.
Over who, though?
The Alexander Volk, whatever. Dude who's beaten Aldo and Mendez back to back.
The fucking truck? Hasn't he just, like, stomped on their face?
Yes, and they made the announcement, like, days after he beat Aldo. In Brazil, he beat Aldo, too. Like, just beat Aldo in Brazil, and they're like, yeah, we're giving it to Frankie, who just beat Cub Swanson. Cub, who's been washed for however many years. Beating Cub Swanson, nobody gives a shit about beating Cub Swanson.
Right.
The fight before that, he got knocked the fuck out by Brian Ortega first round.
Prayers.
So, it's kind of like the career achievement award for Frankie getting this strap. But he's deserved the featherweight title shot in the past when Conor was dodging the division and shit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But I don't know. And maybe they're doing it sooner than that guy might have been ready, too. Like, Max was ready and that other guy probably wasn't going to be ready. Like, we're giving it to Frankie, you'll fight the win.
So,
but I don't see a world where Frankie beats Max.
I would love to see it. I've always been a big Frankie guy. I don't think that it happens when they fight, but I would just love to see it.
I'm a big Frankie guy. I like Frankie as well.
I was big on him when I believe it was BJ Penn who he beat when PJ was in his prime.
And Frankie won the lightweight strap. See, a lot of people forget Frankie used to be 155 champ.
Did not know that. I'm one of the few.
Well, you didn't know he was 155? You did know he was 155.
I did not know. I thought he was less than that.
But, yeah, I like to see Frankie win, just knowing who Max has been beating lately. Like, Max beat Brian, and there's no MMA math, right? And then Max just fought Dustin Poirier, who's a big-ass 155 who hits like a Mack truck. I just think Max wins that. And if Max loses that really is weird with Max, because he's had a lot of weird shit with injuries and then losing that fight to Poirier. If you lost to Frankie, you're not feeling so good about Max anymore. I don't think Max loses that.
Did you, off topic from UFC, did you see the thing that Ben said on how he processed the so-called divorce with Antonio Brown?
What? Sorry,
So,
I didn't.
so Big Ben talked about how he was dealing with the Antonio Brown breakup thing.
Right.
So this is what Ben had to say today. It was hard to process it because I never knew anything. Last time we spoke was on the Thursday before our last game against Cincinnati. We hugged, we had a great talk, everything was good. I knew nothing about the matter, so it was hard for me to know anything that was going on. I heard from a third party there were issues. I reached out to him many times, sent him texts, sent him calls, and this is all before the season was over. I never heard back. So I could never really find out what was going on. And for me, that's why it's so confusing. I don't know where this came from. And even the week before that, I believe, was the Saints game, which was an unbelievable game. And I would have loved to talk to him and had the chance to see what was going on. That's why I said that whatever I did to defend him, whatever I did to offend him, I apologize for it. I wish I could have done that in person.
Right? Who knows that? Who knows if that's media lip service from Ben or if that's actually what happened? I believe that would happen. I believe Brown would ghost Ben and not give a fuck and then just slander him for no reason. But
yeah, I think that it's not out of character for Brown to do that, but like you're saying, it's very difficult to say like did that actually happen, and you're just trying to give the right answer for yourself and for the organization, because I feel like regardless whether AB said yes that happened or no it didn't, he's gonna deny it just to make it look like no, Ben is the bad guy. This is something that's gonna go on all year, I feel like.
I just don't know where all those Ben is a bad guys, all those guys that retired for this new wave of Steelers 2009, 2010. Like, where are those guys? Where are the guys that played with Ben in the early part of his career that hate him and think he's a cancer and that he's racist and all that?
Doesn't make any sense to me. I've never thought
They're
him
none
to
of
be
them.
bad.
None of them. Like, all those defensive guys that we had back on Ben's old teams, those guys have never said anything about him. None of the guys have, like, even the receivers. The dude has, like, Mike Wallace or Emmanuel Sanders said that Ben sucks or some shit.
So
Or, like, Ben hates on them.
So yesterday, shortly after, I just found this. Shortly after Ben said that, Antonio Brown tweeted Two-Face.
Right, like, who knows, dude. Brown's just a different generation than Ben, too. Ben doesn't understand how, like, these people are, like, today. Back in the day, like, your word meant something, and nowadays people just go on social media and say whatever. So Ben can't relate to these kids coming into the league, and I guess Ben Brown's just been acting like a little-ass kid.
Yeah, being his social media self. That's, I mean, based on actions, that's how I'm perceiving it. Like, Ben will sit down and talk to people. AB just gonna be like, nah, man, that's just the way it is. And then he'll go to social media and then just Two-Face. I'm being blackmailed.
Him and Brown are both just like, or him and Bell are both just on social media just annoying over the past lot of, like, Bell even before, like, he got cut. He's just annoying on social media. Like, I understand that, like, having the platform to express yourself, but, like, you don't have to be all the time. Like, you're playing a sport. You're a professional athlete. You're a professional NFL player. Do you have that much time to be petty on social media? Come on,
like,
bro.
dude, you're making millions of dollars. Probably got a busy ass day where it's nonstop.
Like, they're both bothered by randoms on the internet. It's absurd to me. You know what I mean? They both get bothered by randoms on the internet despite their status.
Yeah, because if you respond back to that being a professional athlete where you're going to get it every day of your life, like, you are clearly bothered by it to where you feel like you have to reply to it.
Or just, like, not responding in a way that shows them that you're getting upset or, like, frustrated with it. You know what I mean? There's ways to handle it. Like, I'm sure Cam Hayward responded to dumbass shit on the internet, but the way that he does it doesn't invite the trolls to keep coming back.
Did you see at the beginning of the year where C.J. McCollum said in a press conference something about, like, how he's trying to put his team and his name on the map, and then this girl on social media quoted it and was like, like, win a playoff game, CJ, and he responded and said, "I'm trying, Jennifer." He actually met that girl in one of the playoff series. They did a thing where they actually met before a game.
Is she a Portland fan?
I don't know that she is, but I just know that they met. You would think that
That's
I kind of
funny.
have to, but yeah. Instead of saying anything like, well, "I don't see you doing anything," he just said, "I'm trying, Jennifer."
Right, and that's such a better way to handle it. Like, it's like, yeah, you're racing, I understand it, that's fine, but I'm nasty, and we're trying. Like, that's a better way to do it. Whereas Brown, the NFL is just different too. There's more eyes on the NFL. There's more critics on the NFL. I feel like Bell never really had critics of his on-field anything, though. Like, Brown has his little, his attitude on the field and shit that people always talked
His
about.
antics, yeah.
I don't know where Bell got the anxiety from the people, like people swarming him about. Like, I don't know where it came from. Maybe all of the random suspensions back in the day and stuff.
Yeah, the drug
But,
charges.
people never criticized the way he played on the field or the way he did anything on the field.
No. But
It's just kind of like self-created.
yeah, I think that it would be fair to say that Bell is gonna move around quite a bit more. Who do you think moves from their team that they're at now first, Bell or Brown?
That's hard because I could see both of them imploding, but I just say based on the fact that the Jets do that, they move players. If it doesn't work out, they'll move him. I don't see you're not moving Brown for not anything. I think Bell's expectations are lower too.
Yeah, because
Browns
hasn't played for a year, and I mean, what's
product of an offensive line and a scheme possibly.
Yeah, gonna have a second-year quarterback.
We'll see how that works.
Yeah.
Let's go through and pick all the division winners.
Okay.
For this year.
We'll start out with the AFC North.
You say AFC North?
Yeah, I think it's just fair to say the Steelers and just move
Steelers.
on. AFC East.
Respect the Browns. I think the Browns can give us a run for our money, and we'd also be foolish to not consider the fact that the Ravens might fuck everything up as they always do.
Now, Ravens not going to do shit, but the Browns are going to make the wild card.
It up.
Browns.
The Ravens could play spoiler to us winning the division against the Browns. You know what I mean?
Right. So AFC East. Until Tom Brady dies, we're both rolling with the Patriots.
New England. I'm gonna go with New England. As crazy as that'll sound to everybody.
Yeah. AFC South. Who you rolling with?
Ooh. I would so much love to say the Tennessee Titans. I would love to say the Tennessee Titans.
Do you believe it?
No, I don't. And being a logical human being that I am, I'm going to go with the Colts. Maybe the Titans make a wild card. I think it's coin flip on if they get in or not, but I like the Colts.
You see, I think it comes between the Titans and the Colts.
But Houston won that division last year, too. Let's remember that.
Right. So the reason that I think that the Colts win it is Andrew Luck just had his first year back from his 20 million surgeries or whatever. So
fuck it. If you're taking the Colts, I'm taking the Titans.
Okay.
I'm taking the Titans.
Okay. Well, yeah,
AFC South.
I just think that their defense is going to improve. They have a good offensive line, and Andrew Luck back again. I see them winning that.
That's fine. Just to switch it up, then I will take the Titans and feel good about it because I like the Titans' nucleus of players a lot.
You think Derrick Henry's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the league?
I hope. I don't know what I saw early last year with his. He's in, he's out, he's not hurt, but he's not getting the touches he should be. They need to figure out that balance. Hopefully it's better this year because they somehow play in games even though they don't know what they're doing on offense half the time.
Had the 200 and some yard game.
Yeah, I hope Tennessee's ready to score some points because they have players. It shouldn't be that hard.
So AFC West, who you rolling with?
it would have been easy to say the Chiefs before they lost the personnel that they had.
You mean
So,
the
I
woman
guess-
beaters?
Yeah, those guys. Would have been easy to say, but yeah, they lost some shit. Big on Patrick Mahomes. I think Mahomes is nasty. And I'm not saying I think the Chiefs probably find a way to get to the playoffs, more likely than not. But I'll probably go Chargers to win the AFC West.
Go Chargers.
Just
Go. That's a fair statement. I'm still gonna roll with the Chiefs for the simple fact of Mahomes gets another year in. Real fucking stud. Got a great tight end in Travis Kelce. I having Andy Reid, like, he's just gonna make it work. I mean, being that he has a really good, I'll say great if he does it again this year. He has a really good quarterback. We'll see how the NFL defenses scheme him now. Not that I'm sure you can that well. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I just think that Mahomes and Reed make it work.
All right, let's go to the hard shit, the NFC.
Let's go NFC West.
I mean, hard to say anybody but the Rams.
Kaepernick going to come back for the 49ers?
Don't feel good about the 49ers. As everybody was so huge on them going
Jimmy
last
G
year.
taking him to the Super
Jimmy
Bowl.
G. Jimmy G. Seattle's dead. Everybody knows Seattle's dead.
Yeah.
No more anybody that you would recognize for the franchise almost. Who else? Arizona? Yeah.
Yeah, Kyler Murray. Love you, guy.
The less said about... Well, and we'll see, but I don't want to hear about the Arizona Cardinals franchise. I don't.
Yeah, I just think it's fair to say the Rams and just...
The Rams.
They, no more than Ndamukong Suh, but they do have Clay Matthews.
Because Ndamukong Suh goes to the highest bidder, dude. That's what he does.
He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Bucks. To do nothing, to win a lot of games for Tampa, I'm sure.
Yeah, make a lot of money. So,
Good for him.
NFC South.
Say NFC East.
Okay, we can go with that. I said South, but we'll
That's
go
the
East.
hardest division. That's the hardest division in the history of football. To
Yeah.
predict the NFC East.
Just
Oh my
because
God.
the Giants have been trashed the last 3 or 4 years, they'll probably have this year where they come back and they just win 10 or 11 games.
The Redskins, you never know. The Eagles won a Super Bowl a couple years ago somehow.
Right?
Somehow, nobody knows.
So, with the backup quarterback.
I'll begrudgingly take Dallas. I hate them, obviously, but I'll take them.
Really difficult for me
They
to pick against the
They
Eagles.
just seem like the most consistent team in the least consistent division ever.
Yeah. They gonna stay
Is that who you
relevant.
like too?
No, I'm going Eagles.
Okay. I like that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly Eagles fly. I just think that Carson Wentz gonna put them over the top.
NFC South.
Let's hear your thought on that.
Be kind of disgraceful not to go with the Saints. Should have been in the Super Bowl. Got robbed. Carolina's good. Atlanta's always good, but they're always fake and pretending. So when it comes down to it, hopefully the Saints pull it out. The Bucs suck. We know this. So I think Saints. If I had to say between like Carolina and Atlanta, I kind of like Carolina going over. That I think Atlanta's like a tired story.
So
Atlanta sucks.
It's funny you say that. I'm going with Atlanta.
To win the division?
Yeah.
No.
I think that Matty Ice, Julio, Freeman, that other dude, Calvin
Tevin
Ridley,
Coleman.
yeah, and Sanu. I just think that their offense is going to be one of the top 5 offenses in the league that really carry them. And I
Let's see,
believe
I had those running backs in fantasy last year, and I swear I didn't get anything. I don't know what was going on with Atlanta last year.
that they were very injury depleted on defense.
Yeah, Atlanta, dude, just flip a coin. Could be 14-2, could be 6-10.
Yeah,
You really never know with those folks.
I'm gonna take the 10-6, and the last
You got
but not
Atlanta.
least.
Okay, NFC North.
Yep.
I got to go with relax.
Discount
Aaron
double
Rodgers
check.
and the G-Men.
The
I got to go with
double
my
check.
man's Aaron Rodgers. Get Aaron Rodgers a speck of talent on the field, and he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think that being that everyone's counting him out, I think this is a year that he proves that, like, hey, like, I get Tom Brady's winning the ships, but I'm still the baddest mother effer in this joint. With that being said, though, I'm gonna go with the Bears winning the division. Bears.
You like the Bears?
Yeah, I like the Bears.
To win it, or are you taking Pack?
To win the division. I think Packers
You
make
like
the wild
Bears
card.
to win it. Okay.
Yeah, I think my
So
two,
you're lagging for me. Who are you taking to win the NFC North?
the Bears.
Okay, I got it. I figured that's what it was. I just wanted to make sure not put. You're going with the Bears.
So your two wild card teams for NFC, I'm gonna go with the Saints. No, I'm gonna go with the Panthers, and I'm gonna go with the Packers. I don't think
Yeah,
the
I'd
Saints
say-
make it.
Wait, you have Panthers as yours?
Panthers and the Packers.
Second wild card team?
Packers.
Packers. Okay, Panthers, Packers. I got Eagles and Panthers.
Okay. AFC.
I like the Panthers. AFC wild cards.
Yeah. I'll
What
go
do you
ahead with
think?
mine. I'll take the Browns,
Ew.
and I will take the Chargers.
Chargers. So since I picked the Chargers, I'll go Chiefs and Titans.
No
Wait, I
Brown.
think Titans win the division. So I'll go Chiefs, and I'll completely flip the script. Instead of going Colts, like I think would finish second AFC, I'll go Chiefs and the Houston Texans as my AFC wildcard teams.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, because I mean, we're putting no respect on Houston. They won the division last year. We can't just all pick them third. That's ridiculous.
O'Brien, I just think that guy is going to be run out of town. I think he's the next Marvin Lewis.
Right. I like Watson, though. Watson turned it around last year, bro. They started off horrible and ended up like winning the whole fucking division. I think they started like 1-4.
Yeah,
almost.
he ended up winning that mother effer.
So I even though I wanted to pick the Colts in my head for that division, and I'm picking the Titans, I like Houston to make the play. That's just a weird division too. Who knows? And then people are talking about the Jags being good. Like, ugh, the Jags.
Yeah, I'll hold off on that.
Hold off on the Jags.
So that's pretty
Anything
much.
else you wanted to touch on?
I was getting ready to say that's pretty much all I got.
Right. I'm thinking we got everything. NBA we covered and recovered, I think.
Yeah, and then covered again. So yeah,
Exactly.
I think we're Gucci.
But no, the one point I think on NBA need to stick with: LeBron's 8 more impressive than Golden State's 5.
Yeah, and
For sure.
I guarantee it.
Vince McMahon guarantee.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
Speaking of that, and then last touching point: is Conor McGregor ever going to fight again?
No.
I'm so tired of seeing his name.
More likely
everywhere
that
and I'm
Ben
not being
Simmons
stuck
shoots a
fight.
3 before he fights again.
Nah,
Which
it's
isn't
not that
until fucking October of next year.
bad. Are you feeling Milwaukee in 7 though in that East Finals? You think Milwaukee in 7?
Still feeling it. The only thing that worries me is Kawhi strapping.
Yeah, I just think chances of that happening Game 5 in Milwaukee by strapping him low. And I'm not super confident in Toronto winning that game, although they really need to win that game to win the series, because I think they could really win it in 6 if they do somehow get Game 5. But
I think whoever
if
has
they don't, it's got Milwaukee in 7 written all over it.
whoever has the better supporting cast play wins. It's not about who wins that matchup individually. Whoever has the better supporting cast.
Right, and Milwaukee's bench was asinine. Brogdon was garbage. Raptors got 48 points off the bench or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, We'll see if Toronto can get back to Toronto up 3-2, though. You're tripping if you're Milwaukee. Like,
yeah. So
at least it's interesting, too. LeBron not being there makes the East interesting, even though nobody's going to obviously mess with Golden State. The East is interesting. It's worth watching.
I agree, 100%.
But, all right, I think we got her.
We got her, boys. We got him.
Pitch to Torres. Don't pitch to Torres.
Saddam Hussein, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
All right, we can take out, boys.
Boys.